How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the 4 Positions of a Successful Trader and DexFXWorld.com. Before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Max Farrow. I'm one of the owners of Our City Investments, LLC, and the owner of the Dex family of trading systems, like the one you're on right now at DexFXWorld. After about 4 years of searching the internet for products, gurus, systems, just about anything to help me become more proficient, reliable, consistent trader, I finally found it. That system is me. That's right. I have become that system that I've been looking for to better my trades. How did this happen? Well, to be honest, it was sort of a negative approach. I took everything I liked from the industry and multiplied it, and everything I didn't like, I simply did the opposite. That's right. All those companies and all those systems out there that tout all these things that they can do, I learned that if I wanted to be a trader looking for something, what kind of customer would I want to attract? And what I decided to do was these companies that didn't have phone numbers or programs or things to be able to contact people or didn't prove stuff that they could do or talk to people, I decided that I was going to do whatever the industry wasn't going to do. So now I'm going to share some tidbits and some processes that I have learned on what makes a successful trader. Now, these are pretty vague, okay? So don't think I'm going to give you the finite details of every little thing you need to do right now, because a lot of this is going to come from you. Before we jump in, as everybody says, trading financial instruments is very difficult, and you could lose the money that you put in. That's why we always tout, train, train, train. You're going to learn, you're going to train, you're going to demo, you're going to do it again. And you're going to do it until you become proficient, and you'll learn a lot of that inside. The 4 major positions of a trader, as from what I see as somebody who has searched the internet, who has searched the networks, who has met thousands and thousands of people, and have trained thousands of traders. These 4 major positions are what constitute, for me, a successful trader when you can do them well. Now, I must tell you that the level of success now depends on how well you can plan out these 4 positions within your trader's life. The first one's approach, discrimination, attitude, and management. And I'm really not one of those people that like to do the acronyms, but ADAM, okay, I get that one. That's pretty cool. Maybe I should move it around and do DAMA or something. I don't know. We'll see. Now, let me break them down so you can have a better look. Approach is basically figuring out your best line. What's the best process you're going to be able to do? Now, one of the things within the approach position you want to use and try to figure out your time frame. Think of time frame in reference to trading as you would decide a factor if you want to be long-term or short-term. Okay? Trading off a 5-minute chart suggests that you are more comfortable in a position and that you don't mind the quick up and down. Okay, so this is referred to as an intraday, and even a micro intraday at 5 minutes. That's huge. Some people are even on a 1-minute chart to be able to get a 5-minute trade. Your mentality is what's really going to set you apart as a successful trader. Think of it this way. If you really are not as patient as if you're always getting angry, or if you're just looking at stuff and you get exploded really quickly, real quick trades are probably not it for you. You probably want to look at long-term, over the nights, or 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour trades. These are things, or even end-of-the-day trades, or even weekly trades at that particular time. Okay? If you're choosing weekly charts, this will indicate that you are comfortable with that overnight risk and maybe even the gap over the weekend, those kind of things. You have a long-term perspective. You're real comfortable with those things. Any time frame that you choose is going to have emotion involved, and you'll learn how to sort of curb that depending on the time frame you choose. But if you're very disciplined, because on longer term trades you can sort of take back just a little bit of a seat, right? And you got time. With shorter term trades, you got to be quick. You got to be very disciplined, because mistakes happen, and when mistakes happen, they're multiplied by the time frame. So the shorter the time frame, the harder they are. Time frame really does come down to just how patient are you. And of course, the next approach is the method. Once you choose a time frame, now you must choose a consistent method. For example, Some traders like to use the buy and support and sell and resistance and all that kind of stuff, right? So when it comes to a sell resistance line, they like to sell and they like to buy when it come down to a support line. Or they may like to sell breakouts or immersions or crossovers or MACDs or whatever. Whatever you choose to do, you have to make sure that you're somebody that likes doing these things, that you can follow the disciplines. When a crossover happens, you know what it looks like. You become very proficient at it. Basically, the method chooses how patient you need to be. No matter your decision, you have to choose something that fits the time frame as well. Does a MACD really work on long term? Well, of course it does. But it depends on the variables that you use in the MACD at that particular point. All right, and what legacies you're following with that information. And that's really important because if you choose the right approach, your method will help you become more patient, more consistent, and more valued in your trades. Choosing a method like signals, indicators, EAs, oh my, there's so many of them, right? They are all still just tools, and you just have to become very proficient at using them. The next position we refer to as attitude. You have chosen now to stand by what you're going to do, and you got to do so with vigor. You got to have the attitude behind it that this is something you're going to do, that you're not going to be broken away, you're not going to be squirreled away. In the attitude position, you have to have patience. And this is probably the theme behind it all, is that once you decide that you're going to do this, you have to be patient to be able to do this. Your determination, your practice is what's really going to create that patience within you. Later on, you'll learn how to, what we'll talk about, removing yourself, that emotional detachment stuff. But in this particular process, patience, once you know what to expect from your system, you got to have the patience to wait for the price levels to hit, to when to get in, when to get out, when to reevaluate, how long that takes. The systems that I use, I constantly, I'm in a very short-term trade, 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm looking at every 15 minutes at a process. So I don't sit and look at it every minute. I'm watching it on a 15-minute and I evaluate. And if I'm in the right direction, if everything's looking good, man, it's a great feeling. If not, I don't put any weight to that. And you'll learn this. So this patience will come. It'll be a very uplifting process for you. Now, if you're going to lose, if it starts to lose, let it go. Just let it be. If you were fishing, you wouldn't. If fish came off the hook, you wouldn't jump in the water to go get the fish, right? So there's always more fish in the sea. Under attitude, there's also another. Hang on, let me go back. Okay, we had patience. Under attitude, there's discipline. The discipline, unlike patience, you must now have the discipline to be able to let your system do what it needs to do. Don't second guess it. If you have a practice that you get, as soon as you get in, you go 20 pips up, 20 pips down, 15 minutes later, you trim the fat, and then 45 minutes to an hour later from there, you're deciding whether or not you zero out and let it keep doing what it's doing, or you just get out of the trade. If you have the steps, if you have the flow, your flow chart down of what you do, one step, two step, three step, four, do those steps. Don't just keep ad-libbing stuff in to see if it'll improve it and work it. Work it one way first. Use that discipline to make it work, okay? And see if it's a positive ROI at the end of a particular time. And that's something else that I teach in my lessons over at Dex FX World and Dex Trader and Dex Signals, even Dex Indicators, is allow your tools to do the job, right? You wouldn't start banging on a nail with a hammer and halfway through start using a screwdriver to bang it in. You've simply finished the job and let the hammer do its work. So let the hammer do its work. Objectivity within attitude, also known as emotional detachment, is what I was talking about earlier, really depends on your reliability of your system and the methodology. Your method, if proven and you worked it and you begin to trust it. It's almost like when you're learning to drive, right? At first, you're real jerky, you're back and forth, you really don't trust everything, you're gripping the steering wheel, you really are unsure. But once you get a flow about you, you sort of release a little bit. You're not going to crash into a tree, just some blind mistake. You're really going to focus on The system that you've created, the system that you're working, the rules behind it, your patience, everything starts to gel together. Your objectivity is a practice. Allow it to do its job. This is why trading in demo at first, and doing so with a system that you follow a flow with, will allow you to create that emotional detachment that you need to be successful. Too many traders watch every tick of the market, and they're jumping in, they're jumping out, they're getting pushed. They are psychologically trading the market. And let me tell you, the big fish that are out there that are swimming the ocean looking to get you, that's what they look for. They want you to get in and out of the market. They want to scare you with that process because they know where the limits are. If you have a system that provides entry and exit levels that you know have high reliability factor, then you don't become emotional. You allow yourself to not be influenced by the opinion of the other people around you as well. A lot of traders, we like to create a community. So we tell people, hey, I just got into this market, or I just got into this. And somebody else, well, I wouldn't have done that. Trust yourself, just trade for you. That's basically what it comes down to. Under attitude as well, there's realistic expectations. And this is where you're not going to go into a daily trading environment and say, okay, listen, I just put $250 in my trading account. I'm going to make $10,000 today. It's not going to happen. You have to, it would if you had $100,000 in your account and you already built up to that point. This isn't about the amount of money you can make. It is about creating a reliable, consistent system that, one, you have a good success rate and that you can follow these positions. Two, that you have the availability to grow this process by the success of the daily or weekly or monthly projections you set for yourself. Now, this realistic expectation comes down to knowing if it's short-term or long-term. You kind of do a 1 in 4 process, right? If you're doing dailies, give yourself about 5 or 6 days to really sit down and see if this is working for you. If you're working monthlies, if you're working weekly trades or daily trades or every couple of day trades, you're letting trades be on for more than a couple of days, it's going to take a little bit longer for the expectation to reach its goal. So you have to have an idea. It all depends, like we said earlier, on your beginning positions of your approach. What are you using? Your time frame, everything leads into the next. You can't decide whether or not you're going to be a decent trader or even a trader at all without these positions started. Discrimination is knowing your tools and the asset you're about to use. And this is another position within the 4 position. The discrimination of creating an alignment, if you will, to pick a few assets, chart them, and work them within the variety of those time frames that we discussed. Now, this doesn't mean go grab 10 assets and 10 different ways to trade them and trade them in every single way you could possibly do it all day long. Start with one. A typical trader will overtrade themselves and spread themselves too thin with too many strategies, too many processes, looking at too many things. Focus on one asset and one time frame for a short period of time. That might be, depending on your position of time frame. If it's a intraday trade, it might take you a couple of days. If it's a daily trade or every couple of day trade, you might be doing a 1 week to 2 week process per asset. And you trade that in such a way that once you begin to really find the flow for yourself, that it will become, you'll find that you can make anything work. If it has the opportunity, if the method is there, if the process is there, if your patience is there, if the system has proven track record, then yeah, you have that opportunity. And that's something else that you should keep in mind, is that finding yourself and discriminating against the process of the system that you're using as well, allowing it to do its job like we were talking about. This all sounds great, but in actuality, you really do have to find something you like to work with. And I say, work it till you're a pro. That's right. What may work for you may not work for me. And of course, 5-minute trading or an hour trading or 10-hour trading or 3-week trading really will only work for the person that fits it. So you have to see if it fits by testing it out. The last position that we'll speak about today is about management. Once you go pro, now you need to protect it. That's right. Managing your risk in this process is very important. Since no one wins 100% of the time, You got to prepare for losses. But losses are a part of the process. Losses are not a mistake, they're a part of the process itself. In the end, successful trading is all about risk control, taking losses quickly and often if necessary. Sometimes picking the right decision or right direction may only be a 50-50 opportunity and the market proves you wrong. But trusting your system, using the positions we talked about earlier, and applying the proper risk. My best advice for you is apply risk evenly. If you're going to trade, don't trade 50 lots on one and then 10 lots on another. Use a standard, easy lot control depending on your balance. 5%, 2.5%, even 1% of your balance. That means you might have to take small wins and small losses in order to create consistency before you do anything. And of course, you better be trading in demo till you figure out all the other stuff. Once you go live, risk control is very important, but learning how to do it while you're in demo is one of the most important things. Try to get your trade in the correct direction right out of the gate. If it backs off, cut it out and try again. Often, it is the second or third attempt that you will try to get to that immediately in the right direction. But this practice requires a little bit of discipline. Okay, so there's a lot of work to do with that. You can also use trailing stops later on. Like me personally, if my system at the end of the hour, I'm reevaluating my system. Do I just get out if I'm in profit, or do I zero it out? Do I bring up my stop losses to where my current market is and allow it to still climb and just keep trailing it up and up and up and up and up, and I keep watching it until I'm in like some massive profit zone? Okay, those times will happen. All the short little losses, if you really trim it out, you can actually end up getting to huge profit amounts over a period of time. And as long as those profits are higher than your losses, you're in the right system. You just have to add volume. Timing is important too under the management position. What it really does come down to with trading and management and all of this is your timing with your money. Staying in or getting out, like I was referring to, as also being able to trail your stops and do those things, is all about timing and setting those and recognizing those triggers. I mean, those don't come from a novice trader. Those come from seasoned traders. But you only get there if you have the right approach, the right attitude, the right discrimination, and of course, the right management. Now, we're at that part of the video here where I basically said in the stuff when you were first coming to us that I was going to show you what I use to be a successful trader. And this is basically it. I use some other experiences that I have that I've learned from my own trainings and the trainings that I put out over at dexfxworld.com. My approach is that I use and trade 45 minutes to an hour intraday from the DexFX signals network that I've created. That's right, I use my own signals. I don't use some fancy network solution out there from somebody else and then tout my signals and put all that stuff out there. I use what I make. And the reason I use my signals, and I use them as an event, as a process that when the signal comes out, it's not always absolute for me. I might validate the market. I might see if there's news. I might see if my MACD or my support and resistance support that signal. Sometimes our signals can be faked out or inspired and rejected by news. There's a whole bunch of things that take consideration. I can see that sometimes when a particular asset from my discipline, from my discrimination, I can see one asset that works better at another during news and one that fails more during news. So I may even place a reverse trade in. There's a lot of things that I use from that process, from just signals, using them as a tool. My attitude is simple. I'm patient and I trust the process. While my discrimination is also simple, I use about 5 different assets to trade during the USA session, and I manage to get between 40 to 100 pips a day. That's right. My expectation is real. I'm not trying for 1,000 pips. Those 40 to 100 pips a day can yield me from $4, okay, to $400, to $100 to $10,000. And why I say that is because it all depends on the lot size, from a micro, mini to a standard. And those lots that we portray, those lots that we put down, depending on the risk, depending on my management of my portfolio, I trade about 5% of my balance, and I never keep more than $10,000 in my account. Why? Because I want to make money. If I just keep letting it grow and grow and grow and grow, it really doesn't do me any good. It's like monopoly money to me. But when I withdraw money from my broker, when I withdraw money from my process, I want to make sure that I have enough in there that I can trade the market and the assets from my discrimination of my 5 assets that I trade. And if I want to trade more, I can always look at more opportunity. Now, for watching this video, and you got a little bit of tidbit what I use right now, my DexFX signals, and I use that process. But you can use other signal networks, you can use other things. But if you want a deal for us, if you want something, excuse me, from us over at DexFXWorld.com, this is where we use the Forex educational signals over there from DexFXWorld.com. And if you want to use those, they're normally about $97 a month, right? They're really low compared to what the market is. Even our Dex Trader network that trades for Nadex.com, and those, they're like $247 a month for the basic, for the full package. Here, it's only $97. Why is it so low? It's because there's not all the super bells and whistles that you get over at Dex Trader. There are the signals, there's some data processing center, there's some information. There's not like all the fancy chat rooms and communities and all that stuff. I believe that when you first start trading, you basically got to stay laser focused and don't be distracted by too many things. So I created a very simple system for you to start with. Can you make it more complicated later and we can add stuff in for like a pro accounts and all that stuff? Absolutely. Now, for you watching this video, for you being a part of this today, I want to give you $20. Now, I know that's not a lot of money, right? But it's your time. And as you have, what have you been here for now? Several minutes. And maybe you've learned some things. Maybe you got something from this. So you've sort of been paid for that process of getting the experience from me and learning from my 4 years of putting it out there and trying to find the right system. But here's $20 for you. If you decide that you want to buy into DexFX World and use the signals, just for your first month, it would be $77. So we're going to give you $20 off, right? Use the code DexFX21. That's right. It's $20 off for your first month. There's the code, right? Okay. Now, all the information is down below, the links to the site, where you need to go, all that kind of good stuff, right in the video, or it's down below, depending on where you find this video at. I'm Max Farrow, this is DexFX World, and I want to thank you for watching this video. And really do wish you the best of luck. And I really do hope that you come over and join us. If you don't, I hope this video taught you something, gave you a little bit of insight what I use, and you take away something from this. If not, then I really do appreciate your time anyway. And as always, trade well.